Winter has arrived, and that means we always talk about zone hardiness. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode, because if you haven't heard the news, which would surprise me because we're a little late to doing this, the zone hardiness maps have changed, and that has caused a huge stir among the gardening community. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what that means for you, what you're going to be doing about it, what you probably have already done about it, and what I'm going to be doing about it. So the first thing we need to do is talk about what a zone hardiness map actually is, because if you don't even know what that is, this video won't mean anything. A zone hardiness map was created by the USDA to essentially delineate zones that have an average coldest temperature during winter. And you have zones 1 all the way down to 13. And based on which zone you're in dictates the average coldest temperature that you're going to experience during a 10-year rolling period. So from today, going back 10 years, there's been data collected by weather stations, and those weather stations record the average coldest temperature. And what that tells you is when you're growing plants like these perennials, if the perennials can survive at that temperature, they're going to be fine. If it drops below that temperature, the average temperature drops below that threshold, they're going to die. And so essentially all it means is what you can plant versus what you can't plant. So why the change? Well, as I said outside, the zone hardiness were dictated by a 10-year rolling cycle. So every 10 years, that data has to change. And I think a lot of the reasons why people are really concerned is because this change was one of the largest. If you look back over the past 50, 60 years, the changes were really minimal. You may have a slight change up to the north or a slight drop down to the south, and you may have some things like elevation change and stuff like that, where you may go from a zone 5A to a 5B. But a lot of people were noticing they went from a 5A to like a 6B, which is almost an entire zone shift difference. If you were in zone 8, you might be in zone 9. Now that may not seem like a huge deal, but in fact that's a massive difference, because a whole zone change is the difference of about 5 to 10 degrees. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, it means that you have a little more leniency with what you're planting. You see, if you're planting something that was cold hardy to zone 5, and you were in zone 5, what happens is that if you have a freak cold winter that has weather that's more like zone 4, it's going to die. And so having that leniency allows you to have a little more margin for error. Now you'll probably notice that I'm not going to go out and buy like a cold hardy citrus here in Michigan. That's unrealistic. Yes, we are getting weather that's more like zone 6A, 6B, but the fact of the matter is that there's probably a very high chance that somewhere in the next 10 years, we'll have weather that's more like zone 5 or even zone 4 that we weren't accounting for. And so I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out and changing your whole garden's plans. You probably already have a lot of stuff planted. But if you don't have a garden yet and you're planting those plants, I wouldn't necessarily exactly plant right according to that boundary line, because again, this is always changing, and you may have highs and you may have lows. Let me explain. All right, so here we have to draw a kind of a dot plot to kind of give you guys an idea of how this has changed over time, because this is kind of going to give you an idea of how this information is even gathered. So here we have what we consider to be our temperature line, and you'll notice it goes from 20 degrees Fahrenheit down to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is for St. Clair, Michigan, where we're located. This is for a specific location, and then we have obviously 1980 all the way to 2010. And so then what they're going to have on this chart is they're going to have the average coldest temperature for that year as designated by a dot. So 1980 was cold, whereas 1981 was a little bit warmer. And then you're going to have, I'm not actually counting, but you get an idea. These dots all designate a year. And what they're going to do is they're then going to basically draw an average line to where they essentially cover 50% of the dots high, 50% of the dots low, and you end up with an average line. And that essentially is the median, right? That's exactly in the middle. And so from that point, they can then say, all right, there's a 10-year span, there's another 10-year span, there's another 10-year span, there's another 10-year span. And so you have highs and lows within that 10-year span, and then they literally just take the median of those numbers, and that gives you your average coldest temperature over a 10-year period, and that's for a specific location. And so whereas in 1980 the average coldest temperature might have been, 10 degrees here in St. Clair, Michigan, now it's more like 18 degrees. So despite the fact that that information, as you can see, happens very slowly and gradually over time, obviously the weather is changing and things are getting warmer, the reason for the large change is not fully explained until you actually look at how the data was collected. So the large jump in zone hardiness didn't just happen overnight. As I said, it's been happening very gradually over time. What did change was the way they recorded the data. You see, 10 years ago, they recorded data from 8,000 weather stations, which seems like a lot, but it still gave about a 5-mile margin of error. So what did they do within those two distances? Well, they basically filled in the gaps with hypotheticals, thinking that they might just kind of fill in those zones with probabilities of what that average coldest temperature actually is. So if you were right in the middle, you may not actually be getting the right information. Fast forward to now, they're actually getting information from over 13,000 weather stations, giving an average margin of error of just 1 mile. So you haven't moved on the map, but what happened is the map has gotten more defined. And that's basically the equivalent of watching a video in 360p or 1080p. You're watching the same video in both cases, but what's changed is the resolution. And so what this really is doing is it's giving you a much more refined image of what you actually should be growing and where you should be growing it based on actual data, real data, and not hypotheticals. So what does this change mean for us, and what are we doing about it? Well, we're doing nothing. So the first reason why we're doing nothing at all is because this has been happening slowly over time. If you were in zone 5B, you didn't wake up and then in 6A or 6B. It didn't happen overnight, and so it's been happening slowly over time, meaning most likely your garden has already been planted according to what the current growing zone actually is. You just didn't realize it. And second, the reason why we're doing nothing is because I'm not going to be planting right to my specific zone. As I said, any wise gardener should account for freak weather occurrences on the high side and the low side. And so if you're planting a garden and you found out yesterday that you were in zone 6A because of this new map, I wouldn't recommend planting something that's zone hardy to 6A because you may have a colder winter weather than 6A allows. You may have weather that is 0 degrees or even -5 degrees. And if that happens, your plants are going to die if you plant exactly to your zone. So always give a half a zone to 1 zone of margin of error when you plant. And the third and final reason why we're doing nothing is because the large majority of plants that we're growing are annuals. And that means that they die within the first growing season. An annual is a plant that you plant, it grows 1 season, and then it dies. Perennials are the only thing that a zone hardiness map actually helps you plant, because you have to get that plant to survive through winter so it can regrow in the spring. And so the vast majority of plants that we're growing are going to be dying within 1 season, and so the average coldest temperature during winter means nothing. A very small portion of our garden plants actually are affected by a growing zone. If you're growing something like an apple tree has a range of survivability from zone 4 all the way down to zone 7. Pears have a range of survivability from zone basically maybe 3B, all the way down to 7A, 7B. So you're talking 4 growing zones of a range of survivability. It's not like that 1 zone or a half a zone difference really affected that plant's survivability that much. When we're growing a garden, the real thing is that we enjoy the garden and we learn more about our garden. And this is just one tiny tool that helps us learn more about what we can plant in our garden and what we can't. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Take care. Bye.